You are listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. A little bit of a adjustment again. I don't know what all this is. I keep getting this clipping light coming on over in my pro channel. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's all that bad or not. I'll turn down the decay a little bit. So there are several things that spies will do when they're operating an individual or a community or an entire nation. And not all spies belong to a government, although they're usually working with governments unofficially, criminal governments and criminal spies. So when we look at that Walmart scenario, people say, well, come on, Larry, it's just, it happens at work. People harass one another. Well, no, it's not supposed to happen at work. That's why we have laws. That's the first thing. So to frustrate somebody, you have to show them, most people. I mean, there could be just basic mental illness, and that's agreed. But I don't really find that the United States is really dealing with a basic mental illness issue, but yet they are. The criminals that are harassing other people, that are part of what years ago we could call it the in crowd, we can't call it that today because it is a scientific process that's being used. There are spies empowering the criminal minds to engage in spycraft society activity. I will tell you that Russia and China enriched and empowered people like Trump, people like DeSantis, or anybody else that's abusive in the same manner. They attract those people because they were already created. Don't listen to what they say about how they're against communism. They are communism as it was crony communism. They were socialism as it is that totalitarian socialism. Can the Democrats go over the line and become it? Yes, but if you're feeding too many people, I don't think we're going to have trouble. If you're not feeding enough people, we're going to have trouble. So what these neo-Republicans, which aren't really Republicans, they're Soviet KGB empowered criminals, what they will do is they will decrease everybody's money. They will select people in the community. It's a trickle-down thing. They don't trickle down money. They trickle down the foo. They trickle down the harassment, the psychological torture, the lockout system that says you get nothing. Again, that's modeled after the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. They're very wealthy people today, and they use that same system, but it's not democracy, it's capitalism. But it's lockout capitalism, so it's crony capitalism. So what is it? It goes right back to really being communism. So what we look at when we look at that is that something's going on out of the ordinary. There is nobody in a workplace that should feel they're being harassed. I have been around Home Depot. I have been around Walmart, where there is a system that is empowered by criminal law enforcement and criminal spycraft operators, some officially in the CIA, some officially in NSA, that will empower a community over another to destroy and murder anybody they want to destroy and murder. There's a method to the madness, but there's no method to the madness, because at a certain point, it's just what they want to happen. So what we see happening to Deputy Wayne Ritchie, I don't know what the date of that was. I think it was the 1960s when they used LSD on him, is happening today. They don't have to use LSD on you, but I guarantee they will drug you if you don't kill yourself within a few years, or attempt to kill a cop and the cop kills you, or attempt to kill a bunch of, like we had in Walmart there, and then they take themselves out. Or if they stay alive and the cop shoots them, or whatever it is. Because some of these cases we do have the shooter alive, such as in Colorado. Now, is he a victim? I don't know. Again, government has to do those investigations because we're not allowed to. So what happens is the spycraft entity goes into a nation and says, what will destroy this nation? What will empower us to take over that nation? There are several channels of well life, social life, financial life, health life. The ability to see a doctor life is part of your health life. They will affect all of those and others. Those are just a few examples. So you have a community of people that get to go to see the doctor, yet they're all on, they could be on social welfare programs and have a better ability to seek health care than somebody that has the best plans in the nation. So having health care is not purely having it. You have to be able to move through it. And if they have one of these communities, and it's everywhere, I mean, it is the beast. Face it. I don't care if you go to church. I don't care if you go to the Gurdwara. I don't care if you go to the temple, the synagogue, any other religious place. I don't even care if you're satanic, because I know what's going on, and I'm right. And if you say it's not, then you're wrong. It's just the reality of what the world really is versus what Trump and DeSantis say the world is. Now, this is not politics, but it moves around. Was I wrong about it occurring in the Obama administration? No. It was occurring in the Obama administration. Now, you see here in the Biden administration, it's a little different. And they're really angry at the Biden administration because they won't allow the deep state Republicans and the deep state Democrats to do whatever they want. That's why you're seeing some of these investigations starting to move against crooked cops. It's one thing to, like I said, the shooter on the street, the cop that shoots somebody that they're not supposed to shoot, that's one thing. There is a root cause to that. Now, do you notice my terms end up, somebody's hacking me, I think, here. It's saying I have to quit the app. App can't be used. But I don't even know if it's this app or some strange pop-up. Now, somebody hacked me. It says it's streaming. Let me see if it's from this app. Oh, no, it's not this app. It's somewhere else. It may not even be real. It must be a pop-up. Could be hacking me for the pop-up, too. So there's several ways that they affect the community. And I've outlined a bunch of them, and I'll outline additional ones at a later date. However, when we look at that Walmart, I've had it done to me in Walmart. There's also a spy entity, whether it's private sector or government or law enforcement. I don't believe for a second that the FBI and DHS are not hacking. I'll tell you that right now. I don't believe it for a second. Now, do I believe it's your policy? Yes. But your people are hacking. They have used those CIA toolkit type of things to try to extinguish the life of their victim. And that includes life, liberty, and happiness. It's a description of what we're supposed to attain on earth and in this life. Now, what they'll tell you, if you listen to Large Marge and DeSantis and Trump, because Trump's part of it too. He tries to stay out of that gay thing, but he's there. He uses his underlings to do it. What they'll tell you, if gay people get married, then you're being disenfranchised. That's what they'll tell you. Like that, like the Bible tells you that you're supposed to be that involved in government. You're not. That's not your identity. So what's happening is the government took over the church. What Bobart is telling you is that the church is supposed to advise the government. There's no problem with that. Years ago, we had that happen. I'm sure that Joe Biden speaks to a couple of priests every so often, and they tried to advise him. They're not Republican priests. Is that what Bobart's telling us, Republican clergy? But what's happened is the deep state government is what it really is being called by these people, and it's not a political party. The deep state government is that corrupt government that I'm speaking about that will allow Russians to come in and attack certain people and say, that person got themselves in like that, while overly protecting the others. And those others are part of that Russian government. They were enriching behind the scenes by the Russian government. And now they have more than you, and everybody wants to be like them. And that includes allowing narcotics to flow within our nation. The people that are using these spycraft and CIA toolkit type tools are doing so as part of a larger effort to manage criminal enterprise so that they own all of the crime within the United States and the world, quite frankly. However, if you let crime go to a certain level, you have to arrest a certain percentage of the people. So on the street today, we have cops that work for criminal enterprise. That case up in Kansas City against that detective, he's looking at you like, I know another 50 people that do the same thing. But he won't say anything because he knows what the system will do to him. So again, it's just a dog and pony show until it's not. We have it here in Oklahoma City. I know what's going on. Everybody knows it's going on. It's insane. Everybody knows that there's crooks running around free to do whatever they want. You got sexual offenders out there. You got people that are just doping women up and having sex with 15 different women a week. That's probably a little bit much, but a few different women a week. They're changing them out every month. And nobody's interested in them. But let the deep state contract come in. Let a murder contract come in. And that person's the biggest sex fiend in the world. You can watch them day in and day out having these party lives. And every once in a while, they'll arrest somebody. But that's the person that's going to be taken out for whatever reason to make it look good. I don't condone rape. However, Holtzclaw may be such a victim where he didn't rape anyone, but they want to fear all the police officers into shutting up. If you say something, then we'll put a charge on you like that. Now, there's a possibility that Holtzclaw committed a few of the rapes, not all of the rapes, or none of the rapes. I don't believe he committed all the rapes, that's for sure. There's too much question in what it is. Again, we'll go back to spycraft. So what is this doing to people's minds? It is actually making false memories, creating false systems. But over time, what happens? It becomes the real system. If you want to make money, you got to be part of it. They were already harassing him because he probably wouldn't be who they wanted him to be. Now, could these people be working independent of Russia, independent of CIA, independent of the Stanley Arkin Group, independent of Kroll, independent of Booz Allen Hamilton, independent of all those criminals that steal from our treasury every day while they destroy the nation and allow drugs to flow into your child's school, quite frankly? DeSantis is part of that. If the thing tells him no, he won't allow that thing to be arrested. He's a robot. Probably for Putin. They can independently operate because they've been instructed in how to destroy people by spies of a foreign nation and spies within our nation that are criminal spies and might as well be an independent foreign nation. So that still works for Putin. He's got a bunch of homicidal maniacs operating spycraft murder in every Walmart, it seems like, in the nation. Let be every Home Depot where he wants them to be triggered and wants them to go and kill someone. Murder in the first degree. You cannot charge it, but God will destroy this nation for every murder in the first degree that's not charged. And I don't care if they're a cop. I don't care if they're DeSantis. I don't care if they're Trump. Trump's killed people. Oh, well, he didn't exactly say to kill someone. Or did he? So again, obviously my time here in Oklahoma City is drawing to a close. I'll be moving up to Kansas City. We'll see what's up there. Let you be a Russian piece of shit. And I mean that. I'm Russian, so I'm not against Russians. But you be a Soviet piece of shit. Let you have changed this nation to kill Bob Levinson by getting him disappeared. Let you be the one. Just let you be the one. And God will take your city and turn it into shit hell. It's coming for this place, let me tell you. God's going to destroy Oklahoma City till the day it's worse than any Bible city that was ever destroyed. Now, I'm not speaking physically. Nobody is to act out. We are not God. We have no right to physically destroy a place. You can curse the hell out of it and then keep moving. Because we're going to take down every city in the United States if necessary. Because believe me, it's happening in Russia, it's happening in the Ukraine, and it'll happen here next. Because that's who you all are. You're not Americans. The first key is to make them the patriots. And I'm not just saying Republican Party because it's in the Democrats also. I told O'Donnell, I think his name was, when he was, they hit him with that, tried to hit him with that charge. I don't know where they are in it. But I said, look, you're saying it's the Democrats. Don't play that game. You'll never get anywhere. I said the Republicans put it into the Democrat most likely because they want your seat to put the crony in who works for Putin. And that's what it was. And that's what it is. So there is a God, and God is moving. Now, could God have caused the shootings in the Walmart, the shooting at, what's the other place? Where do we have the other shootings? Can't even remember. There's so many of them. The shootings up in Idaho, the shootings in Oklahoma, there's a couple other like 4-person shootings, murders. Yes, of course. I don't know who these people are. Could God have allowed that guy to kill those people in Walmart? Yes. If they were a deep state cell, God would be like, take them out. You'll be up here in a minute anyway. And they'll be down in hell. Now, is that guy going to hell? No. Based upon what I see, he's just gone in the mind. Again, God's a very just God. And if they cause you to lose your mind like that, God doesn't care. Now, am I telling you to do it? No, I'm not telling you to do it. What I'm telling you is you need to understand what's actually happening. What happens is, again, the spies will create that world. And that world will then become the honorable world. The dishonorable becomes the honorable. It's in the Bible. Like Marge out there all day acting like she's honorable in some way. She's a communist, not a communist. She is actually a communist, but she's like a Soviet thug. Because they weren't real communists. They weren't trying to feed people. Again, the Republicans want you to believe food stamps and welfare type things, public assistance, is what we fought in the Cold War. That was Murdoch's business with Fox News, to reverse it so that everybody believed we were fighting the United States versus fighting Russia. You know, we were fighting the social safety net. That's it. That's what they want you to believe. Like that was the Cold War. Every Cold War soldier, airman, marine, coasting, naval person should be very angry at what they're doing. We did not fight food stamps. We were not fighting Russia because they were feeding people. We were not fighting Russia, or the Soviet Union, should I say, because they were, and China in the Cold War, because they were taking care of people with a social safety net. That was their shtick to get in there, but it wasn't real. If you go back to I want to take something of a point real quick and show you. They're collectivists. Trump is a collectivist. The MAGA people are collectivists. They're communist collectivists. They're socialists. But what they're doing is it's state capitalism. Trump ran state capitalism. He ran it from, and you'll see a couple news articles speaking about it, but it doesn't call it state capitalism. But that's what he was running, a secret society state capitalism. Giving money to the people that he wanted to stay in business and pulling money away and causing trouble for people that he didn't want to be in business. And that's going on today in Oklahoma. You don't have a business, you don't even have a job if they say that you don't. Because they'll harass you until you shoot somebody or kill yourself. That's really what your law enforcement is doing. That's really what your spycraft operators are doing. That's what your Walmart is now doing, because they are now spycraft criminals. They are criminal spycraft operators. Now, is it everybody in Walmart? No. But there's probably another 10 or 20 who can't wait to get into that group of people to go harass that manager and get away with it. That's one of the signs. If a underling can harass a manager, that's a sign that the deep state, shadow government, criminal enterprise, and the spycraft criminals are operating in your business. Again, it doesn't take them to know that's what they're doing for it to be happening. So there was a social shift in the United States, and now we call it cancel culture, and Republicans don't do it. Republicans thought it up, and they lived it their whole lives. Secret society, KKK, Nazism. They're all the cancel culture. So they got Democrats to do it now. So now they point at the Democrats, and the Democrats agree to it. Like this is what we should be doing. So it's not Joe Biden. I'll tell you that. Joe Biden doesn't believe in the cancel culture, at least at this point of his life, because it doesn't get him anywhere and get his government anywhere, and it doesn't get the people anywhere. So what is it that we could do to stop it? I don't know if there's anything. So God might be crashing the planet, crashing the nations. Russia's not doing as well as it was. Ukraine's not doing as well as it was. And we're not. Now, you'll go, I got money, though. I got money. I'm doing great. Well, keep an eye on it. It's disappearing, isn't it? Elon Musk, what, 55 billion, they said? Gone in a year? Don't blame it on Biden. But who actually did it? You all did it by price gouging and laughing about it. That was their plan, to put all the Republicans in. Just make it so bad that they'll... Ooh, they're cursing me. I might put it in my microphone. Make it so bad so that everybody will vote Republican. You know, Elon Musk is about money, man. And that's really all it is. Now, I don't hate Elon Musk, and I'm not telling you to hate him. He's in a stage right now where he has to make choices. Is he going to be the dark side, or is he going to go to the light? Trump made the choice for the dark side. DeSantis made the choice for the dark side. When they speak about God, they speak about a God that's evil. They go to certain scriptures in the Bible. It's like an ink blot, the Bible. They'll go to certain scriptures because that's where they are. But those scriptures, without the balance on the other side and the reality of the application, is Satan. So Satan had all those centuries and ages to go through the Bible and create secret societies of devils. It's Rosemary's Babel, or baby Babel. I guess it is Rosemary's Babel. It's Rosemary's Baby. I don't know if you ever saw that movie where Satan, there's a woman, and she's like not part of something, but it's a secret society in an apartment complex, and they were Satanists. And they got a woman in there, and I guess Satan impregnated her somehow. I forget how it goes completely. But she gives birth to this child that's satanic, and I guess it looks like Satan. And they're all like acting normal, like this is the normal world, and we're going to take over, and all this. And, you know, like the end, it's kind of like the end times. But I always like to say it, Rosemary had more than one baby, because that's who they are. They're the children of Satan. Some know they are and some don't. Some want to pretend that they're with Jesus. I mean, they come up with the most cockamamie ideas that I believe in private sector charity. So this is how Republicans used to run, how it's supposed to be. We believe in private sector charity, but we don't take away the government subsidy until we know that we have a large enough system running out of the private sector to make it well. And then, of course, we always are there being vigilant to know that we need to increase care from the government when it's needed. That's just how we are, because that's very Christian of us when we do that. Now, you atheists, you have something to say, but the conservatives don't. I'm wondering what Miss Adelson's feeling, whether they have come to the realization that devils have taken over the Republican Party. Again, I spoke about Judenrecht in Germany during World War II, and how they allowed the Germans to do what they did by becoming the upper crust and playing that class warfare and kind of rubbing elbows with the Germans. Or the Nazis, should I say. And then they thought that they would be the ones that would be spared, and eventually they were not, but some of them were because they were part of it. So, I spoke about that in like 2005. I started speaking about it heavy. Essentially, the Jews that are with Trump are Juden, right? They are the ones that will lead us to the ovens if we keep going in that direction, whatever that oven may be. Again, psychological torture and not allowing health care, psychologically operating people around their health care, even drugging someone. There's no doubt that people have been drugged to death in this nation. It's just a matter of the deep state knowing every stage of that process of investigation and having it covered, which includes your coroner. We've seen some pretty hairy, scary coroner reports over the years. Jonathan Luna, you saw how they did that. They hid the coroner report. So again, that's what's really happening in our nation. We are no longer really the United States of America, and that's because of people like DeSantis, people like Trump, and possibly Musk. Musk has choices to make. It's obvious that Musk is looking to empower certain secret society members. No, he doesn't look like he's just opening up Twitter to those people. At certain points, he's stepping over into the other side saying, okay, it's okay if I do it this way. But again, he is the king of Twitter because that's how a lot of these people are. But there is a God, and he spoke about God the other day. I'm not sure he's saying that it's the will of the people and the will of God. I don't see that. I'm not understanding what he's doing there. It's a very poor use of the term God. What you'll find is most people that are in the Christian societies are not on Twitter. That's because of the porn, I believe. I'm not sure, but it looks like I can't get to certain... And some of the law enforcement, too, they've pulled out of Twitter. I don't know if it's political, or I think it's the porn, because they don't want their people on Twitter. And like I said, you run a search. You can hit the button and block it. And I used to do that. I unblocked it, and I wanted to see what happens. And I see a corrupt change in the search. Like all of a sudden, when they're operating around me, trying to sexualize me, that increases. They'll tell you, oh, you must be doing something. No, you're doing something. They even went as far as making fake porn posts from famous people. And then like dumping it into my feed, which means we don't even know what people are doing. So he has to look at that. Could have been Twitter people. I mean, people are paid. What we see in Facebook is happening in Twitter, but it doesn't mean that Elon Musk is above it. He might want to destroy people using Twitter. I mean, he could be an antichrist. I don't know. But, I wouldn't say that was the will of God. I'd say that's the will of the people. We'll see if it's the will of God. Now, he's definitely needs support from people with money. So he's definitely a person that's courting billionaires and millionaires. Trump does the same thing. So we'll see where that all goes, because he may, the problem is when Elon Musk loses money, then he becomes susceptible to spycraft manipulation and to, contracts. Again, they may say, Elon Musk, we only want to do this to this person. Will you let us do it? They could be government agents. They could be anybody. And he says, okay, because it's monetarily well for him. Or, he feels that it'd be beneficial to him. But when you get to what they're actually doing, it's a murder contract. And you've just agreed to psychological murder. Whether, and then you complain about people out there shooting and saying it's Joe Biden. It's not Joe Biden. It's the secret societies. And it's incumbent upon the federal agents to arrest them. But the problem is they become them because, money is intoxicating. Going down to Colombia and getting the hoochie coochie with the girls while you're in the Secret Service, that's intoxicating. Those agents that were arrested, or not arrested for that, were fired for that, they're not the only agents that did that. So again, what happens is I'm not into people being harassed in government service for making mistakes. I'm actually more lenient than what's in there. But when you take that system and you empower these people and depower those people using that system, then it shouldn't exist. Because that's what's happening. They're manipulating support for Vladimir Putin, really, in the federal government by enriching the people that will do that. And then anybody that's truly a patriot, such as Bob Levinson, you could say Bob Levinson was a real patriot. You can't say that about Trump. You can't say it about, who was the guy that Gates was saying should be the Speaker of the House? Chad Wolf. Chad Wolf is a Soviet secret society member. That's why Gates said it. He knows he's in with the secret society that Putin has, I wouldn't say just Putin. All the oligarchs were part of it too. They're like, oh, what have we done? They enriched a lot of people to be those corrupt pieces of shit that we know are in the government, that we know are in the federal, state, and local government. Back when the argument was they were just in the federal government and the state was going to save us from it. Now they're everywhere. And they'll actually fight each other just so they can get the others, destroy the others. So they'll have fake, proxy wars and things like that. So the Walmart shooting is all that. Because even if they're not part of a specific secret society cell, that pattern of behavior has been moved all across the United States. It's not the same as just the same old guff that we used to see. Somebody giving somebody guff, somebody giving somebody a little bit of stress. It's not the same thing. These are scientifically proven methods to kill people. And they watch the person with knowledge of military intelligence. Military intelligence and spies will look at their victim to ascertain their health while they try to kill them with psychology. And physical methods enter in because all of a sudden now you're having trouble getting health care. They're watching you online. You try to buy something, they buy it out from underneath you. They got people coming into your house and if you report it to a cop, they'll say you're crazy. So again, you can read online where people will talk about, and you're wondering, why doesn't that person call the cop? Because they're not going to do anything. It's so commonplace that they didn't even bring that up in that Quora discussion, or wherever the discussion was. They simply said, they come into my place and, they mess with my stuff, and what am I supposed to do? What's a good lock for that? So it's commonplace. That tells you it's commonplace because the person's not saying, well, I called the cops and they said nobody was in here and I know the person was in here. So again, I know that rigmarole because when they victimized me in the Marshal Service, they showed me all the fraud that they commit against their victim. Hoping that would be a Jonathan Luna and kill myself. Well, we only think probably what do we get? 65 to 70% that he killed himself. It's not 100%. I thought somebody killed him. And I believe it was a professional hit. Like CIA or somebody affiliated. And that could be a Russian. Because that's where we are today. So again, you have to stay peaceful. And you have to let God operate. What Marge and Bobart are telling you short circuits God's operation. So if they can't get you to be a secret society piece of shit like they are, they will get you to believe that you have to do something physical to change something. And I'm not telling you not to do things physical, but you're not supposed to be out there saying, let's create a law to do this, do that. You're not supposed to be so focused on government that you fall apart just because they allow gay people to get married. If you have such a focus on that, then you don't have a focus on the gospel. And that's where you're supposed to be, because what that's doing is focusing a Christian entity or focusing other people on the Christian entity as this thing that wants to deny them something they believe they should have. And again, I say it like that to neutralize it. You don't have a race in that horse or horse in that race. It's just vice versa. It doesn't matter. Get rid of it. What's important to you is that those people get with God. That's what you have to tell yourselves the gospel is them getting with God. It's their business with God on what that judgment's going to be. It's in the scriptures. It's not your business. Can it mess up your child's life? I don't know. I don't make that judgment. And neither should you. You should have faith in God that it's going to work out the way God needs it to work out based upon your faith, not your physical movement. You can see how they're all shifting towards the Democratic Party because you've alienated so many. They already left the church. Anyway, if they go to a church, you know what happens? They get psychologically operated because people have to check them out. Again, what does check them out mean? Check them out means kill them. They may not, the people, they don't even know what they say when they say it. Now they do because I've explained it. They were checking me out. They were checking Luna out, and Luna checked out. See, that's the truth. You can't check out. They're killing people. The people that they give the green light to are out there dealing dope and running sex trafficking rings. That's what's going on in Oklahoma City, the land of the church. This is like the evangelical Vatican, and it's the most corrupt place on earth. If that isn't telling what is. Oh no, we're only doing it to you more. They get off on it, man. They get off on people killing themselves and killing other people and becoming gay and doing gay things. They're sick. They're so sick. God has a deep, 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 dark hell that they're going to. Outer darkness is nothing compared to where all of you are going. Now, Jesus said a lot of different things. And the biggest part he wanted you to do was to take part of to help these people. And come into these cities and heal these cities and tell them that, God is coming, God is here, that kind of thing. But that's what you're not doing, all of you. Because God wouldn't want those people. But yet, when we go to Ezekiel 34, what do we see? That God wants those people. He doesn't want all of you, because Jesus came to seek and save that which was lost, right? But he didn't come here to save the righteous. So you being self-righteous, you focusing on gay people, you focusing on this person and that person, they even get to the point where they focus on the people of color, but they look for an excuse. Oh, because they are woke. We can't have them in the church if they woke. If you ask me, the church isn't the church anyway. That's not the church Jesus Christ came to establish. He came to establish a community of people, not a little club here, a little club there, and this club over here got a bigger building. I admit, I was impressed when I came to Oklahoma. I said, wow, look at these church buildings. And then God, kind of like, even before they started, God was like, well, did Jesus come to build a church building? And I said, no, this doesn't sound good. So God foreshadowed much. But again, this is just, the nation is sold out to evil, more so than sold out to Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin was only working a spycraft operation, but the evil is what allowed the spycraft operation to work. So whether in church or not is neither here nor there. All right, where am I here? Let me see how long I've been speaking. All right. So I finally got my place set up here, and I'm leaving in a couple weeks. What's happening is the blessing in Kansas City is picking me up before before I leave. So things are starting to go a little bit right. One of the biggest issues is that the money's going to flow into Kansas City and already has to put the murder contract out on me. No matter what they call it, it's a murder contract. So we have officials up in Kansas City that are most likely committing felony crimes and most likely with the intention of a murder, a death of their victim. Therefore, it is a capital crime in reality, and that's one of the things that God is demanding, that we start charging psychological murder as a capital crime. You can build a case around it, and you all know you can. But you all know somebody that's done it. See, that's the key to get people to engage in it. What they do is they come into a city or a town, whatever it is, and they make it all seem like it's official law enforcement activity and everybody's engaging in it. And all of a sudden, they all figure out they committed a crime. And they use that, instead of like backing out and saying, well, that's it, I'm not going to do it. So, well, you got to keep going because now you're in. So you have to make sure that you stay safe. So for the rest of their life, they're an evil piece of shit, telling everybody they're the most holiest, pure people on earth. And, they're psychologically operating people to fall, physically blocking them. I explained to you before, if your child's dealing drugs, this is how they're doing this in investigations. They're not allowed to do this, and they're doing it. If your child's dealing drugs and you're praying, your church is praying, like you got a real church. Let's say it's a real church. Let's pretend. Your church is praying for your son get right, and all of a sudden your son's in church. Your son, I rededicate my life to Jesus. And all of a sudden your son's saved. Your son goes, Mom, I got a job at CVS. I'm cleaning the toilets, but happy as a lark because, now his life is right. There are cops out there and members of the community with them that will take his job. They will harass his boss, your son's boss, your daughter's boss, until they're fired and go back to dealing narcotics. No matter what your son does, he will not have a good day until he deals narcotics again. Meanwhile, same cops taking money from a narcotics dealer because he's the in-crowd narcotics dealer that gives them, $1,000 a month or whatever it is to do it. So that's really what the United States is. Has nothing to do with Joe Biden. Has more to do with DeSantis and Trump and their little Hitlers that are stationed all across the United States in law enforcement and intelligence and government positions and in the private sector. So Musk right now is in that position. He's in the hot seat. They're trying to destroy him to get him to take the mark of the beast. That's why he lost $55 billion, but yet he lost $55 billion. Why? Because he's already accepting it. And his crew of people. They thought it was funny. Now, did Elon Musk price gouge to harm people? No. I don't think he did. I mean, I might be wrong. I don't know how much he raised his vehicle. I'd have to look at that. I don't think he did. Because it's become more competitive. I don't think he can. But he thought it was funny. All the billionaires rebelling against having to pay tax. You got more money than, you really got more money than God on this planet. That's a fact now. You couldn't say it before. Y'all got more money than God. And you have a problem with paying taxes. Well, God only has so much money on this planet, believe me. I mean, it's all his, but, He doesn't. His will isn't playing out in it. Not even in the church money. Kind of like, here's the one for God, 99 for me. Well, that sounds biblical, right? And you're supposed to give it all to God. As far as your mind, your again, the money means nothing. It's the heart, and again, the hearts and minds is true. I told you that years ago. I said that thing in Vietnam. Everybody laughed at it. It was true. You got to win the hearts and minds. And I told them that, in like 2007 or something. I said you're messing up. You got to win their hearts and minds. So that we get this guy Gant, and he starts winning the hearts and minds. And what happens? The deep state take him out and act like it's normal. Everybody knows people were doing crazy stuff over in Iraq and Afghanistan, and they all got forgiven, except for the guy, what? The guy that could save the whole thing. So again, that was a movement of our enemies, and people that were empowered in the government, in the military, were those Soviet cronies. And they said, here's a chance for me to be somebody special. But what happened? They destroyed the whole operation. And then who finally killed it? Soviet Trump. And they all yelling at Dr. Fauci like he's done nothing his whole life. And they're the kings and queens of what? Of idiocy. The other day, they're like, they're so stupid and so ed up on Pravda and TASS propaganda of the Soviet Union. Actually, Pravda and TASS, I think, has less propaganda than they do. But they're so ed up with it that Daily Caller comes out. And again, that's a spycraft name. What the spies will do, they'll call you every day and harass you. So you see Daily Caller, that's supposed to freak your mind out and make you upset and all that. I'll just give it to God and let God kill them. However, they were talking about Elizabeth Warren. They were like, the Pilgrims met with Elizabeth Warren's, ancestors or whatever. But that's true. She came up as Native American. They're so ed up, so disinformatia oriented. I don't know if they're just stupid or they just want to put that disinformatia out there. She is Native American, and they did meet with her ancestors. And for all we know, they are that particular tribe. We don't know. But she came up as having Native American ancestry. Now, Hoskins is a piece of garbage. I think he's a Trumpian. No, I don't think he is. But he's a political person. She probably shouldn't have said that she was Cherokee, I guess. But when you grow up in a family and they say you're Cherokee, then you think you're Cherokee. But again, we have people within these Native American tribes that had slaves. And they even took their own people slave before the African Americans were here, or the Africans were brought over. So again, some of what happened in that genocide was karma, but not all the tribes were like that. That's recognized. They were some very vicious people when it came to other tribes. So again, they come out like they're this holier than thou. Again, it's the same model that's happening everywhere. And again, they try to point to Christianity as being those people that were abusing them. That's not who they are. Those are not Christians. Same thing's happening today. But yet, the same thing's happening in the tribes today, in the nations, the Native American nations. They're phonies. I spent time with real Native Americans that are really Native American people. And they're having a very hard time surviving because of the other side of the Native American culture that think they're God's gift to Native America and God's gift to the world. They don't really care about their people. They don't. They'll just make money saying they do. They care about their own family and their little clique cells of secret society. Is that human nature? No. That's something that's been installed in this nation. Native Americans were never like these people. And again, when Russell Means said it, and again, Russell Means can be a lot, but he had a job to do on Earth. He focused on Native Americans also. He said, look at our tribal governments. They're no better than the people we're complaining about, the white people. So again, he had a certain level of honesty. Was it all white America? Well, no. You could go back through Native American history, and if I had met him, we probably would have had this discussion. You go back through Native American history, and you can find some pretty nasty, horrible people. So again, same thing happened in Africa. Africans were taking African slaves, then somebody comes in and takes them slave. So again, they lose that protection when they engage in that activity. So is it about the Republican Party? No, there's plenty of Democrats that'll work for money and do criminal things. That's really what it is. Plenty of people in government do criminal things for money. Position, power, anti-power actually. And my time is drawing to a close here in Oklahoma. Some weird things have been really happening as far as women, and I've seen it every place I've left. Like women start if I wanted to, I could probably have a conversation with women every day this week. But as soon as I decide I would say, none of them would talk to me. Now the question is, were they told to open up like that? Is there a specific person or people that tell them, okay, now I'll give you another $1,000 if you just start talking to him, act like you like him or something like that? I've had that happen. I had that happen in Naples. Can't remember if it kind of happened in New Mexico also. Some of it's witchy, I agree, but the only way the witchy exists in that form is that it's physical, and they get the physical positions, and then they structure their community for the anti. So again, being gay is not the only quote unquote thing discussed in the Bible as being wrong. Mostly what you'll find when God does something to gay people in the Bible, it's because they've done something else wrong. And that's forcing something on somebody. Sodom and Gomorrah, when it was destroyed, was attempting to force gay sex on the angels. No different today, but guess what? We have heterosexual people doing that now. Because in the conservative world, if they can make you gay, they can destroy you. That's the easiest way to destroy somebody or get the deep state to destroy somebody is to say they're gay. Now, there are gay wings of the deep state also. And that is a specific spycraft operation that causes that. You'll find that not all the people become gay, but it's going to change the whole world around you. The whole world around you becomes gay. And that's how it starts wiring. So again, they are devils. People like Large Margin, Trump, and DeSantis, they're out there trying to cause their enemy to be somebody they can destroy. And they use witchcraft and demonic activity no matter how many times they say church or they say Jesus. Again, that's not the litmus test. Again, Bar Jesus even had the name of Jesus, didn't he? But he was a devil, and Paul took him out with spells. And we call those invocations, actually, but that they are really spells. Jesus uttered spells. They were invocations. Luke 10 is an invocation. That's a kind of a spell. It's a curse on anybody that would attack one of his men or women that go in and heal a community. And they tell them, that God is near. My biggest thing, God told me, God's the Father, Jesus the Son. I speak to God more than I speak to Jesus. God, because God was always there with me even when I was Jewish, even though I was Jesus. Wait, I don't want to be Jesus. Oh, I guess maybe I am. Crucify me. Okay, so I speak to the Father, and the Father was like, just get them to know me. Just get them to know me. Once that happens, if they can think about me, I can connect them, and maybe something will happen for them. And it doesn't mean that anything on earth will happen, but God wants to, He wants people to go to heaven and have a life down here that they can be proud of. Even if, they are gay, or they use drugs, or they drink. The craziest thing in the world is where they're condemning drinking, and yet Jesus, drank. Well, Paul did say it would have been better if this or better that. Um, you know, Paul's not perfect either. Again, Jesus wasn't perfect. His heart was perfect. Paul's heart was perfect. But yet their actions were tainted by the world, the physical world around them changed them so that the heart didn't always effectuate. Again, God told me if your heart effectuates, if I open up your insides and you feel the world and you're totally connected to the source and to the world and to all of creation, you would go and you would sit in one spot and you would die. Because there's no answer at that level. It's that bad here. So it's funny because then you get to like Hinduism and that kind of thing, and they have these guys, they're like yoga guys, and they just go to one spot, sit and die. And what they're doing the whole life is connecting, increasing. Again, that's Kabbalah. Yet you can go to Kabbalah and find the same thing. That people connect, and then they die. So again, God was very honest with me. It was a very beautiful experience to have left the government and had God at that level and speak to God, and I still do on and off. It's just they've tortured me so much. It's very hard to just be happy with nothing. And even actually having doesn't mean as much anymore. But, I just always, God would just instruct me in so much. It was just amazing. They also block that level of connection at times. And God showed me just about everything that God needed to show me to outdo anything that you could ever say or do for Satan in the name of God. Now, that's very telling. Also, they're working for Satan. They call him God. They're working for Satan. They call him Jesus. So it's very telling about who all of you are and what you're actually doing. Some of you think, well, it's a little thing. It's not a little thing. It's huge. Now, here's an example. Let's go to that fellow that he recently was convicted or pled guilty to, I think he pled guilty to he did something in the church. He had sex with 2 women. And, I look at all 3 of them and they're all just possessed, pretty much. He's not the devil that he appears to be. He was possessed by devils. And he went in the wrong direction. He had sex on the altar. Again, this is like Hollywood. For God, that's called Hollywood devils. Satan creates Hollywood devils of possessed people. And again, I speak about politicians that love doing that also with spycraft operators. What's that place called? Project Veritas. They are spycraft operators. They are very dangerous people and should be watched 24/7, and probably are at this point. Probably took out a few federal agents so they can get their crony in there. It's pretty much what happened. And in my life, that's what happened, but there was no reason for it to really happen because I'm not like this upperly mobile person. I just like working. I just was, a person that liked working and liked doing a good job. Unfortunately, I was being watched online, so anything I was doing was being cursed, and physical things were done to me around it to burn me out and then try to cause some PTSD. And then, I would kind of move away from the project. So I was doing things like, writing code, and trying to get a project forward where I would create a judge's. We had a laptop in our duty case, and I was going to put on a laptop this program I was building so that we could access judicial information, but yet it would be secure, that kind of thing. You wouldn't have to go online or anything. You wouldn't have to, pull out a piece of paper or access a computer at work. You would have all the information in this laptop, secured laptop and a secured app. But I always try to figure out, well, I don't know how many people, I told somebody about it, but I was thinking, how did they figure it out? Because they were watching my online. So anything I would start doing, they figure, okay, he's using code and he's Googling this and Googling that. So then he's doing this or doing that. So let's destroy him right now so he can't get that project finished. And of course, my boss may have been told, hey, put him to work a little bit more. And he just does it. He doesn't want to know why. Because he's going to have $1 million house and that's it. So again, Jesus didn't come to seek and save those that were righteous. You self-righteous people have written yourselves out of the book of life. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. And I want to explain that real quick. Self-righteous, when you condemn the gay people as hard as you do, again, it's all right to have emotion. It's all right to be human because they do it. They condemn the church and back and forth, it goes on. But when you become that self-righteous, then you write yourselves out of the book of life. And that's what's going on. Because it's kind of a play on words, but it's there. And I don't know if Jesus was being a smart derriere when he said it, but he said, I didn't come to save the righteous. He could have been being facetious. I didn't come to save the righteous. Move on. So that's reality. So stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.
You are listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.